How was he punching? Was it hurting
like
him?
He punches like a mule kick.
He just doesn't quite get there. Clear. Got him in the right hand over. Oh, nice hook.
Here comes Razor Ruddock.
Prime Mike Tyson was plowing through the golden age of heavyweight boxing in the 1980s. But there was another boxer in the shadows who was preparing to hunt down Tyson and take his crown.
Not using his legs at all.
This monster's name is Donovan Razor Ruddock. He is known for giving Prime Mike Tyson his hardest fights. We're going to take you through the story of this legendary boxing rivalry and show the story of Ruddock's brutal career, yet shocking downfall. Standing at 6 feet 3 inches tall and with a fighting weight of around 230 pounds, Ruddock was a murderous puncher who utterly anesthetized many of his opponents. He often put his foes into deep trouble with the smash that only he threw. It is a sort of hybrid between a jab and an uppercut, and he threw it from way too far out, but it often landed with devastating effect. All of Razor's opponents knew they could not afford to take the smash. In 1982, at the age of 18, Ruddock turned pro with a victory over Wes Rowe. He won his first 4 fights consecutively, with 2 wins via stoppage.
That dropped Al Hook. And with another clean shot to end the fight. Left hand that floored Richardson.
Oh, there's a left hand.
The fights that followed were a series of decisions and a draw. Ruddock was not setting the world on fire, but in his 11th fight, he suffered an 8th-round TKO loss to journeyman Dave Jaco. This appeared to be the end for Ruddock. Forced to quit on his stool, Ruddock complained of breathing problems. It was discovered he had a respiratory illness, and it did seem he had punched his last. But after taking medical advice and a significant amount of time off, Ruddock returned to the ring in February of 1986, picking up stoppage wins over Carlton Jones and a split decision win over former heavyweight titleist Mike Weaver. Now a ranked contender, Ruddock blasted through opponents in 1988 and destroyed Ken LaCusta inside a round to win the Canadian title. Now, Ruddock really began to make some noise on the world stage. In his Madison Square Garden debut in April of 1990, Ruddock unleashed a punch he had been working on in the gym. At the expense of an unfortunate Mike Dokes, the world was introduced to the smash. His brutal left-hand shot nearly decapitated Dokes, who crumbled, badly hurt in the 4th round.
What an impressive performance by Razor Ruddock. This is the best young heavyweight.
Now seen as one of the most dangerous and exciting heavyweights out there, Ruddock was a genuine title threat. Amazingly, Ruddock would never fight for the world heavyweight title. Instead, Razor got his big chance against former king Mike Tyson, as Tyson was on the comeback trail following his huge upset loss to James Douglas. Tyson and Ruddock had originally been set to face each other in November 1989 in Ruddock's adopted home country of Canada for Tyson's undisputed world championship. However, the fight was postponed and ultimately canceled because Tyson suffered from costochondritis. Tyson instead would fight James Buster Douglas in February 1990, where he would be knocked out in a massive upset and lose his belts. This time, the two fighters were the top 2 ranked contenders for the belts that were held by Evander Holyfield. The fight was a hard-fought one, with Tyson chasing with menacing intent, while Ruddock threw his left hook with everything he had.
With an uppercut which missed.
The big question, can Ruddock withstand the customary early Mike Tyson?
Well, he's ready for it. He threw his bomb.
Oh, all right. By Tyson, and Ruddock stumbled, but he stayed up.
Throwing a big punch. He stumbled after the punch. As he had another uppercut. Boy, these uppercuts are getting in there.
It's certainly not the same Tyson we saw against Alex Stewart and Henry Tuckett in contact. Steele, an associate minister, lets them know.
Punches thrown by Tyson. He's been throwing one punch at a time. And it's low and landed. There's another one.
A good shot. Ruddock doesn't seem to care. A hard shot.
You could cut this tension with a knife. Both men throwing punches, any one of which could stop it.
Under for the bell. Tyson hitting afterwards.
Early in the 2nd round, Tyson scored a controversial knockdown. After being hit with a left hook to the shoulder, Ruddock tripped over Tyson's right leg and fell to the canvas.
But in truth, that wasn't much of a knockdown. There was a shot, though, and he did go down, whether he's off legit. It's legitimate. Oh, that's
Late in round 3, Ruddock would suffer another knockdown. After hitting Tyson with a straight left hand with less than 10 seconds to go in the round, Tyson countered with a powerful left hook to the side of Ruddock's head that again sent Ruddock to the canvas, smiling, his feet disconnected from his brain. Ruddock was able to get up at the count of 8 as the round ended. For the next few rounds, he endured a battering never seen before by any of Tyson's opponents.
Just trying to catch his breath, looking for a second win here.
Tyson and the crowd groans. That body shot sounded like he hit a drum. Again, the crowd groans.
In round 7, Tyson hit Ruddock with a 6-punch combination, and though Ruddock remained on his feet and was seemingly healthy enough to continue the fight ended controversially as referee Richard Steele famously dived in to rescue Ruddock as he was under fire on the ropes.
Certainly has shot some powerful punches at Tyson and landed.
As soon as Steele waved it off, the ring was full of bodies and a near riot ensued against the referee due to the premature call, and referee Steele had to be escorted. Teammates of both fighters started off an 8th round, and once again, Tyson's team won. Throughout the fight, Ruddock displayed a granite chin, yet a poor defense to go along with it. He was turned into a punching bag, yet he did land enough bombs of his own to make it an entertaining affair. It wasn't his first loss in 17 fights, and he demanded a rematch, which Mike, relishing a second chance to give Ruddock a proper send-off to the Shadow Realm, obliged.
I got hit by Mike Weaver where my legs been wobbling and I came back and I won the fight. So therefore you can't judge it by that stoppage right there.
I can't wait till the 28th. I'm going to make you my girlfriend.
The problem with Ruddock was that he tended to neglect his jab, the most important punch in boxing. The return meeting came 3 months later, and once again, Ruddock's inadequate defense, combined with his big heart and courage, saw him take far too many punches. Walking out to Stand Up for Your Right by Bob Marley, Ruddock, in this second affair, had to get off the floor several times. Razor was torn through, but did last it out to the final bell in a fight that saw its share of fouls and points deducted. But the biggest deduction was his health. Ruddock's jaw was mangled from the beating, and fans and experts wondered how much the fight had taken out of him. While Tyson would be booked against Holyfield, months later, for Razor Ruddock, boxing's wounds won't heal. Ruddock watched from outside the ring as Tyson and Holyfield battled for the heavyweight title. As it turned out, the war had taken quite a lot out of Ruddock. Nonetheless, he was now a big name due to the way he'd fearlessly rumbled with Tyson, and plenty of people still believed the now 28-year-old was a future world ruler. With a new trainer, former heavyweight king Floyd Patterson, by his side, Ruddock picked up good stoppage wins over Greg Page and the unbeaten Phil Jackson. But on October 31st of 1992, in a final eliminator for the WBC crown, which took place in London, Ruddock was all but finished off as a serious contender. He suffered a beat down from his former amateur opponent, Lennox Lewis. Turning in one of the best performances of his career, an ice-cool Lewis annihilated Ruddock inside 2 sensational rounds and avenged his loss at amateurs. Razor wasn't ready to retire, and he did play his part in giving fans a treat of a slugfest with Tommy Morrison 2 years later in 1995, losing by stoppage in the 6th round, in a fight that saw both men hit the deck. In the first round, he put Morrison down, but let the opportunity for an early stoppage slip. He was given a count himself in the 2nd round after grabbing the ropes after being caught by a Morrison uppercut. Ruddock was dropped after missing with a wild shot in the 6th round. Miraculously, he got back up for more pounding. But like the first Tyson fight, Razor was controversially stopped on his feet in the 6th stanza of the fight. While his losing streak compiled in the ring, he lost even faster outside of the ring. He made several millions fighting Tyson and his other opponents, but bankruptcy and failed investments hit him harder than any punch Tyson landed. In the late 1990s, Ruddock filed for bankruptcy after many failed investments, including losing $1 million when his Fort Lauderdale nightclub, Razor's Palace, went under. Also, a contract dispute ruined a close relationship with his beloved brother, Delroy. After the loss to Morrison, Ruddock disappeared for 3 years. During this period, he was arrested along with his brother and sister Sunday night after a dispute, and also faced a trial on charges he forcibly took back a $5,000 diamond ring he gave the mother of his 3-year-old son, Shaka. He returned in 1998, but Ruddock would fight only sporadically from here on in, appearing in 1998 and 1999 for a string of fights, all wins, and again in 2001 for a win that saw him regain his old Canadian belt. The wins were to have been the end for Ruddock. But then in 2015, at age 51, Ruddock remarkably jumped back in the ring in a series of professional fights after 14 years out of the ring to accept a series of fights at the domestic level.
I want to shock the world. I'm 54 years old. George Foreman was 40 what? I was in this condition, okay?
Okay.
And he won the title. I want to beat his record. And I realized that if you're not relevant, if I'm not boxing, you're not relevant.
Right.
Okay? So I love boxing.
Yeah.
So I have to do something relevant.
Right.
So turn back time.
Yeah.
Going against 29-year-old Dylan Carmen for the Canadian Heavyweight National Championship, it immediately became clear, as soon as the bell rang, that Razor had made a huge mistake by returning way past his prime. The veteran was losing every round, and in the third round was caught with 2 thunderous right hands in the corner of the ring that found the target through a non-existent guard, and Donovan was sent crumpling into the ropes in a first knockdown. The 51-year-old was on borrowed time, and Carmen upped the ante on his helpless opponent, starting to let his hands go. The final blow was damaging for Ruddock, who was left flat on his back, barely moving after another right hand crushed the temple. It was a sad ending for the heavyweight veteran, who had such a glistening career during his prime. Despite only winning the Canadian Heavyweight Championship, he compiled 47 fights, 40 of them being wins, and 30 being knockouts. But one fact about his talent is that Ruddock could have been a great heavyweight if he had top coaching. More than having flaws, Ruddock never even learned the rudiments of boxing. His method was to slug it out with hooks and uppercuts until he scored a KO. Currently, Razor is using his boxing skills to sharpen the youth in Jamaica and is passionate about supporting the local boxing fraternity. In 2006, Ruddock invented a non-electrical garbage compactor called the Boxer, which he hoped would become a success. He found an excuse to get back in the ring in a 6-round exhibition bout against 55-year-old James Toney that went the decision. A ridiculous showcase where both men had lousy athletic appearances and fought with sluggish pace. Despite losing it all, Ruddock believes that boxing, despite all the pain it has caused him, has given him the strength to get through his troubles. Like and subscribe for more videos like this. We're going to be uncovering the tales of other legends like Ruddock. Goodbye.